Hello? Is this thing on? Is it me you're looking for? Wait, is that how it goes? I'm not actually sure how that goes. How is everybody? You know what? I was so prepared today that I forgot to set up everything. Give me 1 second. We got music. Any second now. Ah! Just changing the volume was the only thing I hadn't done yet. There we go. We've got music. We're all good. Alrighty. How is everybody? It seems that so far we have Ed Ragan, we have Zillick, Cheeve, and Chromatic Schnitzel, and Blue Volkswagen. How's it going? Everyone doing well? New starting screen. Seems that the new starting screen is liked a lot. There will be some changes made to it. It's just I was really thinking it over and thinking that, you know what? That intro animatic that I have is absolutely hot garbage. So, yeah, we've updated a little bit, but there will be some more stuff done to it eventually. I'm just kind of waiting for the more, the automation update, which they keep teasing and have made us think that it should have been out by now at least, but like a little while ago. So I've been holding off for that. I've been holding off on so many projects because I thought that this thing was coming anytime soon, but it turns out that the automation update is just taking longer than what they thought, is what I'm going to assume. So yeah, I went ahead, I made the intro, but the intro will be made better once the new update comes out. Hey, Masuvi! How's it going? You're good? Good to hear. You almost said my name correctly. Xlizik. Oh. Xlizik. Oh, close. Bet I got there. I've been saying it wrong all this time. Anyway, I'm seeing some weird things in the chat there. Now, I saw, Chief, you asked about the stream I did over on Twitch. There was like a very short-lived one. I had so many problems getting that one right. I made so many mistakes because I don't stream on Twitch very often. But yeah, that whole Flight Sim VR stream was atrocious because they really did a terrible job with the VR controller implementation, which was the one thing I was waiting for in that game. Like, I play that game occasionally in my own time, but then when I tried VR, it was so much better. And then when I realized that they were going to soon release the VR controller thing, I stopped playing it for about a month and a half or something like that. And then they released the controller update, and it was garbage. Hot garbage. In the year 12 swing now. Hey, Masuvi's becoming a big boy. Aww. I remember year 12. Wait, no, I don't, because I dropped out in year 10. And now I do YouTube. I'm smart. But I got a degree. A creative arts degree, but I got a degree. Questionable choices have been made on my behalf most of my life. I don't remember it well, but the first part of the new LCV update is coming around December. I don't know what you mean by LCV. Is that to do with Automation's update? Because they said it was meant to be in the middle of this month, middle of November. And it's past middle of November. Or at least that's what everyone was telling me. Because I suppose I didn't actually look it up myself. I can't wait till the new automation update. Hopefully I'll be able to do split turbo F1 V6. What do you mean by split turbo? Because it's already twin turbo, if that's what you mean. Or do you mean both banks into one turbo? Because that I can understand. Oh no, how do you read it correctly? I'm happy. Oh no, now you read it correctly. And then I read that incorrectly. I'm genius! Yeah! Hold on, let's do the internet kid thing. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it goes, but anyway. Oh yeah, how's the AdSense? yeah, AdSense paid me back pay of $117. Woo! But now it's a little bit slower coming in, obviously, because that was back pay. And I missed out on a whole bunch of AdSense in the meantime. Like 3-4 months of it. Hey, Fanny Faxbear, how's it going? Moving on. I think the VR FS 2020 is best with a full cockpit sim. Oh, flight. I think you mean what everyone else is abbreviating to, which is MSFS, Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is what I call it. But yeah, like a full cockpit sim, that's a bit tricky, and also very specific to each individual cockpit. So I don't know if that's going to be like a great solution. You remember year 12? I don't. Never was there. At least I'm using the degree I have. Yeah, fan diddly testing doing me great. It's got me $117 so far. Wait, actually, hold on. No, it has actually earned me considerably more than that. About 1,000. Probably about $1,200 it's earned me so far. Wait, hold on. Then there's the actual work I've got. So it's earned me probably about $3,000 in 7 years. University is quite useless. Light Campaign Vampire? What? What's Vampire got to do with it? But Light Campaign update? Does anybody... Okay, out of the people here, I have used the campaign probably for about 10%, maybe 5% of my total gaming time. I want to know how much time percentage you reckon you spend in Light Campaign, and if an update to the campaign is particularly important to you. To me, it's not important, but it would be nice. It's down below other updates that I would like to see. Hold up, let me check it up. Check what up? What? What are we talking about? Oh, you're talking about the date? Split turbos where the turbine and the compressor are on the front and rear of the engine with the shaft going through the engine. I have never heard of that before. There would be advantages to that, but there would also be incredible disadvantages to that if you weren't using really expensive materials, one of which being the fact that the turbo shaft would be really heavy compared to what you would normally have, meaning that the turbo would be a little bit less responsive, like on the throttle down and stuff like that. But I suppose they know what they're doing because it's on a Formula 1 car where it's already got traction control, which happens when you try to put the accelerator down too much. So maybe with the huge amounts of power they're generating, which is like just shy of 1,000 horsepower or sort of approximate numbers, that might actually be something that advantages them. Well, not advantages them, isn't actually a downside, I should say. But yeah, that's interesting. I never knew that. I read the campaign description and then decided I wasn't interested. Oh, okay. So 0% of my 500 plus automation hours. Oh, ouch, kabibble. Oh yeah, Mercedes uses a split turbo in F1. Okay, yeah, interesting. I've spent like 5% in campaign planning and getting Gear City for a campaign type game. I'm planning on getting Gear City for a campaign type game. So I've seen Gear City. I mean, I like tycoon games. And if I wanted automation to be a tycoon game, I would want it to cost considerably less. But I primarily play it for like the car building and the being able to drive it in BeamNG aspect of this whole thing. They're not the same game to me. They're like using similar things, but they are very like separate games. I'd almost want them to separate the games so then they can have full-time development on the like building and exporting aspect of everything. Oh, okay. Well, let's start having a look at today's cars. Let's slow that camera down a bit. First of all, we have this weird car which hasn't exported correctly. This is meant to be cut out, and I know because I did it myself. The rest of it is actually just this weird. So for instance, like the fact that there's a big behemoth engine in here, yeah, no, that's right. And the fact that the transmission is poking out the side, that's also right. That's how the car came. And then we've got... Is that meant to be like one of those exhaust flaps? Is that what that's meant to be? Because that hasn't come across like that. Anyway, yeah, this is a real strange one. And I believe this thing is meant to have, I think, a few thousand horsepower, something like that. Something absolutely ridiculous. Oh, it's got twin exhaust. That means that comes... Oh, both of the turbos are on the same side. Is that... Wait, no, it's got... Hold on. There's one turbo on this side. Wait, hold on. I think I saw a second manifold. Okay, one turbo. No, there is only the one turbo on that side. But then on this side, there's two turbos. Oh, you know what? No, that's a fake one. Okay, I know what I'm saying now, because there's also another one over here. What you should have done is gone in and edited the .dae to remove the existing turbos and just keep those turbos that you wanted there. Ah, okay. But I don't think it particularly matters, because I'm assuming all you wanted to do is have the pinwheel there. Impeller turbine impeller thingy. Yeah. Baymax headlights. Yeah. Okay. I see that. Good spotting there. By the way, I just wanted to correct you real quick. F1 hasn't had traction control since 2009. Really? I didn't know that. I thought once they implemented, they just kept it. But I suppose they do sometimes backtrack and just do the stupidest of things. For instance, in the 90s, they were worried that the Formula 1 cars were getting so fast, they stopped allowing slick tires until like 2008 or something. It was a very weird decision. Which, hold on. Which is when the traction control switch happened. Okay, fair enough. That actually makes sense. They use ERS, energy recovery system, to spool the turbo. Okay. Trying to think of like what they would be using, but then they're probably also not really strapped for like stripping out weight because of the weight limitations that they're allowed to reach, which means that they could probably put a little bit of extra weight in for a way to spool up a turbo. Otherwise it would seem like a waste of weight. What cars are we up to? These ones. Welcome, Chen. How's it going? But yeah, so this car is meant to be absolutely ballistic. I wonder if it's all-wheel drive. I'm not seeing a drive shaft come out here. We have minuscule brakes on what seems to be a jiggly body, but also a solid axle rear. That... Oh, wait, no, it is all-wheel drive. My bad. I'm such an idiot. Yeah, no, it is all-wheel drive. I was just expecting to see independent rear suspension. My brain didn't see independent rear suspension. It just immediately assumed that it wasn't, rear drive. Is that... This is something that's been bugging me for a while. Is the solid axles in the rear? These are actually, multi-link, just with a solid axle. Anyway... Going to the front, we have... I can't tell what suspension is in here. We do have tiny brakes again. And we have a... Oh my god, I just can't even see... Can I see the suspension over this side? I see one... I see two... Okay, so this is double wishbone on the front. And then solid axle coil on the rear. That's quite the car. But, yeah. I'm... unsure if that's going to be a good car or not. Is that actually a wing on the front? I don't think so. Could be. I don't recognize it though. And then there's this going into the wheels. Is this... I get the feeling that... Because I think I exported this one for them, that the vehicle is meant to be morphed out further, meaning that that probably wouldn't have pushed into the wheel. Hey! I am 3 Firebird. How's it going? Hope you enjoy the selection of cars today. But yeah, then we're moving on to this one. This car looks really sweet. From a distance, unfortunately, this looks just like the Jaguar body. But from this angle, it looks so Ferrari. Like, it's even got a prancing horny... I got mixed up a prancing horse and a prancing pony, and ended up saying a prancing horny. My brain ain't too good sometimes, dude. Anyway, yeah, so this is the car. It's pretty sweet. This almost looks like a car that I made not too long ago as well. But, boy, that is a pretty nice looking car. They got lots of little details, like they got that down there. You know, not a lot of little details, but it has a lot of accurate details. And then a pretty cool looking thing back here. Oh, is it only a single... Oh, it goes 2-into-1 exhaust. That's interesting. Did Ferraris ever do a 2-into-1 like that, or do they always have dual exhaust? That is a big engine. Oh my god. That's a big V8 pushrod. Triple 4-barrel carburetor. That is 4-barrel, right? No. I'm not sure what sort of carburetors they are because I don't really spend a lot of time looking at carburetors. I just know that that's triple carburetors. Which, the math doesn't work out. There's some weird division going on in there. It's a good looking car. I agree. This is a very nice. That's a 6-pack, I think. Yeah, but 6 into 8, I mean, doesn't go evenly. So, it's a bit of a problem with that. I kind of wish I had known that this was going to have an issue. I would have turned off the chassis. But yeah, on style alone, from like this angle, if you ignore the chassis poking through, this is a good looking car. Let's have a look at the rest of it. Please don't be all-wheel drive. Please don't have 3-piston. Okay, and we have... Is that drum brakes? I'm pretty sure that's drum brakes on the front. This is a 1950s Ferrari clone. I would have assumed that this thing would have better than drum brakes. That's unusual. Then, yeah, we got the 2-into-1, some more unusual choices. Then torsion... No, not torsion. God, I just went over this in a video that I just recorded. But it's, what Ford call the switchblade suspension. It's a very unusual choice. This car is probably going to oversteer easily. And then, yeah, we got drums on the rear. This thing is also going to lock up quite easily. If this thing is cheap, I'm going to be actually really happy. If it's not cheap, then I'm going to say that this is a bit of a failure of a car. Because even in the 1950s, I believe that these things probably would have had disc brakes, at least on the front, at the very least. 2-barrel carb? Is there no specific name for it? Is it just a 2-barrel as opposed to a 4-barrel? Because if so, then sure, okay. Because it's got the... Must have the choke inbuilt. Somewhere. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. What are the names of a couple of cars? You really want to have a look? Let me bring up... Hold on, give me a second. I was meant to have this open, but I didn't. Wait, this was here all along? Now I'm confused. What? Oh. Oh, the whole thing moved over. Give me a second. Funny buggers are afoot. There we go. That's how that's meant to be. Viewer cars. Who's this? Apollo? What's Apollo want? I don't know who that is. Anyway. If you want, you can take a screenshot. You can pause. This is... Hold on. There we go. The cars for today's stream. There you go. Do what you will. That's what we're up to. Alright. Yeah. Oh, nice. Looking forward to Ekai's go-kart. Are you saying that you were? And also, Welcome, Oliver Van Weismail. How's it going? It's quite the name. Wesmail? Weesmail? I don't know. I recognize the next one. It was made by Ekai. Why does everyone know this car by Ekai? What the... What? Two people already know this car immediately, and I've clearly forgotten if there was something special about this. We have 3 pistons in the front. Independent front suspension, so that's good. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I actually did see this car. My bad. I would have liked to have seen a better mounting top. But, I mean, it's all right. But, yeah, let's move on to the rear. We have mud flaps. Do these mud flaps work? They do work. Yes, no, I do remember this one now. They kind of work. There seems to be a little bit of a problem with the side-to-side motion. And then there's a lot of movement dampening on it. Unusual. Now, these fans do work, and apparently there is a version which you could switch around the parts for to make this engine not be orange. So we'll be doing some fiddling with this car because they've done extensive extra modifications, including a steering wheel that moves. Now I'm having a look in here. There's no pedals. Is this for disabled people? Oh no, there's no heat shielding between the engine and the seat. So, generally, you at least want one sheet of metal, generally with good heat dissipation properties, like gold is a pretty good one, which is why they use it on McLarens. And what's the other one? I can't remember. But also, aluminium is a pretty good heat shield. You would then put the heat shield in between there. Otherwise, the seat is going to gain direct heat, and it's going to transfer it in through to the driver. That's going to be quite uncomfortable. Other than that, though, this is pretty good. And also the nose pedals and stuff. Pretty good. I like. No harness either. You would need a harness bar. And the harness bar would need to be above this here. And there's not really a harness bar, unfortunately. So, I'm not sure what the harness solution was meant to be here. Pretty good, still, but yeah. I like to be harder on cars that are doing better. I don't know why. It's just, I think they're so cool, and they get so close. Oh, you worked on the J-Beam with them. Sweet. Because he spent like 4 weeks work. Okay, what is this song? That was weird. Little crazy song break there. Those mud flaps are a little bit stiff. Actually, some mud flaps are incredibly stiff. So, I mean, I'm not too surprised. I also noticed that they've got my fender flares on there. So I wonder if they've got that working properly as well. Is it going to Pikes Peak? I don't know. Depends what's written about it. I once drove a go-kart whose heat shield was too close to the back of the seat. That's unfortunate. You would hate if it was mounted on the seat. Or just some rallycross. I'll probably do rallycross or some like jungle... No, not Jungle Rock Island. Small Island, USA. And do some, like, jumping around there. Because this thing looks like it's made to jump and stuff. It looks fun. Ended up with first-degree burns on me. Oh, ouch. First-degree does suck. But see how it has... Oh, okay. Now it has heated seats. So if you're in, like, the Arctic, this car is fantastic. You know? Because of the lack of windshield and everything. You can't pull one over on me that easily. I'm seeing some sort of like weird texture thing happening here. Not entirely sure what it is. Yeah. I think it's to make it fit the shape properly. Anyway, moving on. Oh. We have another jiggly car. This car body doesn't usually have issues. So I'm really confused as to what's happening here. Also, there's a big bite taken out of the front splitter area. Something happened to this car, and I'm not entirely sure what it is. Also, yep, there's a gap in here. This is hard to get. There you go. There's a gap. So I see what they've tried to do there. That's something that I've used before, but that's not where that goes. Jelly car fail race would approve. Sure. Except I heard that fail race only accepts things without voice or without webcam. So unfortunately, I'm a little bit out of that in both regards. Anyway, so we have actually not a whole lot of air intake. It looks like this is mostly blocked off. Oh my god, that is so jiggly. A little bit there, and a little bit there, then a little bit there. And it looks like a predominant large portion of it comes out here. And then the wheel ventilation there. But none comes out here. Which, if you've heard me rant about this car once, you've heard me rant about it 1,000 times. This car looks like it's easy to work on. I guarantee you this person tried to put some sort of ventilation here and then went, I can't do it, I give up! It is hard. You can do it, but it is really seriously one of the worst car bodies to work on because of the way automation does its ray tracing to fit parts of the fixtures to the body. It's really hard. So stop being fooled by this body. It is not easy to work on. Anyway, moving on. We got the really cool turbo wheels, which are really awesome. I love it. That sort of thing from like the 80s and whatnot. Then we have a ginormous wing that it has a pretty big overhang as well. And then I can see that I know what this part is. I don't know what it's for generally, but I know what this is. It's in the miscellaneous fixtures, and they've got that to attach the second wing, which they've then either taken an independent wing part or they've painted the stems of this invisible. Or potentially it's inside of here, maybe. I'm not sure. Let's have a quick look. Nope, it's not inside of here. So there is like a mod wing called just straight element. So that's what that could be. It is tilted three-dimensionally. So it may not actually be generating downforce. We will have to see. Then on the rear, we have... Oh, okay. I have problems with this wing falling off. So we will see how that goes. F for this car, we'll see. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay, deleted that message, sure. Time to check engine and brakes. Ah, yes, that's what we're doing. Wait, I suppose I didn't actually check the engine on this thing. So we've got a flat 4 and 2 piston in the rear with rear drive. And then on the front, we don't have front drive. Okay, cool. And then this one, we have really thick Chungus wide tires, all-wheel drive, okay, fair enough, with double wishbone. So they've gone pretty ballistic, but not all the way out. It's not push rod suspension, at least. No interior. Hold on. I'm confused. Why is this in here if there's no interior? What was their goal with this block? Weird. Anyway, we have, I'm going to assume just a V12, because it is 60 degree. Yep, that's a V12. What a guess. Very supercar-like. Is it to hide? No, you can't even see through the mesh. So I'm not sure why that's there at all. Then we have the exhaust poking out under here, which is not actually a great place for the exhaust to be. See, what's going to happen is the exhaust is going to come out, and then some of it's probably, most likely, most of it, is going to end up underneath the wing, which is going to reduce the suction, which is going to reduce the effectiveness of the wing. So, with a wing like this, say like this is the wing at the back of the car, the downforce doesn't so much come from like the air hitting the top and then being deflected. Like a little bit comes from that, but mostly it's from underneath. When the air goes past it and underneath it, and then has to expand and fill up that area. That's where most of the downforce comes from. And that's going to be counterproductive for this car, unless it's some sort of DRS system. Which, I don't know if that's how they do DRS nowadays. That's actually something that they used to do a little while ago to get around rules of not moving wings and stuff. Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Okay. Sure. What? Anyway, moving on. Possibly an engine cover. Oh, possibly an engine cover. I think that's might have been what it was meant to be, but they haven't done any of the Windows stuff, so maybe they just gave up on the car, which is entirely possible. But welcome, Cascade Freak. How's it going? No, it didn't cover the engine. No, I think it's meant to be like a rear section cover, not an engine cover per se. Crownless, welcome. Henlo, am 40 minutes late. 40 minutes and 27 seconds to be exact. Sorry, 40 minutes and 31 seconds to be exact. Oh, sorry, 40 minutes and 34 seconds to be exact. Oh, sorry, I'm joking. Which you can't see anywhere because there's no rear window. Yes, that's what I was looking at. Phone is bad to type on when trying to type. Yep, I understand that. Maybe take a second to check before you send, which is something that I always forget to do. I'm genius. You haven't checked the brakes. You can't go to next car. I haven't checked the brakes on this car. I'm just going to guess 3-piston. Yep, 3-piston. Then on the rear, we have also double wishbone. On the front, we have, I'm going to guess 3-piston. Yep, moving on. So this is probably like an early car for them. Not the first one. They've tried to experiment a little bit, though they haven't looked into what makes a car work properly. So they've done a bit of experimenting. They've put carbon fiber over where the headlights would be. They've done some interesting things here. Unfortunately, though, very flawed still. But then we got this really cool, funky-looking 80s car. Now, this became a thing out of an amalgamation of them confusing two different cars, and then thought, well, let's just make that car. So yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. I know that's meant to be for a number plate, but that really looks like it should be open, because that's closed off. Only this is open, and this is open. So for an early 80s, maybe even 70s, I'm not sure what this car is, lots of airflow is going to be very important for these sorts of turbo cars, because when the engine bay gets hot and the engine starts getting hot and getting hot air, it's then going to start knocking. So you're going to want to fix that. Hot charge air, not good. Let's have a look to see if they put an intercooler. Nope, they haven't. But we have a flat 6 into a turbo. Yes, so it is actually turbo. Then on the front, we have double wishbone, dual piston, front wheel drive. Let's have a look at the rear. All-wheel drive. One piston in the rear with double wishbone suspension. Okay. Not too much of a surprise. Everything else here seems fairly normal. For some reason, the exhausts... I don't know why automation does this sometimes, but sometimes they make the exhaust like really asymmetrical. And that's what's happened here. I don't understand how that happens, but sure. Okay, I guess? Yeah, I mean, I thought I made questionable choices. Hey, the Slow Drifter. Welcome. Hello from Belgium. G'day from Australia. G'day from Australia. Me and E-Dragon are both from Australia. Exhaust fumes. Yeah, exhaust, bro. Got my exhaust. Automation's exhaust are special. Very much so. That's why I try to stick with single exhaust. Nah, I mean, I still like dual exhaust for when dual exhaust is appropriate. And welcome, Zane Swan. How's it going? Ahoy, lads and lasses. My first time making it live. Ooh, welcome. But yeah, then we got some really cool funky wheels. Now, if this is from the 80s, they would not have that low of a profile of a tire on a normal car. Not even on most race cars, really. not even when they started to make the transition to radials in the 80s for race cars would have they had them this low. Tire profiles this low didn't really start to come around until like the mid-2000s sort of time. Sometimes you saw them in the 90s, but not really. Yeah, an interesting car. I am concerned about the 2-piston on the back and the 1-piston on the rear. I get the feeling that that's going to be unbalanced. There is a large void in the front here. Have a look. So you'd expect with such a long front that the engine would be like right here. But let's pop in. And you can see that it only slightly goes over the front axle. Okay. Now, I am so glad at the next update that they are allowing you to change where the engine is and give it like a realistic, bigger scale for certain engines and stuff like that, being able to fiddle with all of that stuff on your own. I hope when it comes over to BeamNG, it is actually going to be done properly. So, like, it may not affect automation, but I hope it affects the BeamNG export, which shouldn't be too hard. But I don't really know. And having that actually affect automation as well shouldn't be particularly hard. Because you just add a slight modifier to the weight distribution of the vehicle. Doesn't seem particularly hard. The only thing they would have to do is do like trigonometry on the engine moving, which would be a little bit difficult, but when in program, trigonometry isn't particularly uncommon. But then again, they do code purely with blueprints, so it could be problematic for them. We shall see. Phil, you forgot I'm also from Australia, but Queensland, so never mind. Oh my god. It's like a little bit warm and humid here right now. I would hate to be in Queensland. So, it's like 21 degrees and humid currently, I think, or something like that. In Queensland, what's it like? Usually 30-something degrees all year round, but really humid? Oh, that's got to be uncomfortable. Especially since I don't like to wear shorts. Imagine not being from Australia. It's just the Gold Coast. That's the only real part of Queensland. I have actually a few family members up in Queensland. I have an auntie and a different branch's cousins of mine live over there. So, like, I have 3 aunties. One in WA has their kids, which is my cousin, in Queensland. But then I have another auntie, which lives in Queensland, but her kids live in there and Victoria. So, when I say my auntie and cousin live in Queensland, that's not entirely what I mean. Actually, I have 2 lots of cousins. All right, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't bag the bleach sands of Queensland. They are skits? What? I don't understand what it is. What? Anyway, me living in the outer Brisbane area. It's still going to be quite hot. Invalid. Okay, a dragon? Sure. Maybe it's a Street Tune version, so it got that kind of tire. That is unlikely. Yeah, no. Like, it might have been a riced out version in the future from, like, not too long ago. That's possible. But I don't think that they set that as the year. Anyway, let's have a look at the interior. It's very basic. I like the fact that they've got a gated shifter, which you don't see very often in road cars. And for a very good reason. They're not all they're made up to be. They feel nice, and as a driver's car, it's good. But as like a normal road car, they're expensive and not always great. Like, lots of noise comes through. Sometimes heat can really transfer through quite a lot. Depends how you've done it. It can also squeak, creak, and rattle. Really depending. You do want to have an expensive car to have it. Oh, sorry. You do want it to only really be on expensively made cars, is what I should say. When the slang is so hard, South Australians don't understand. Yeah, are you skits as in schizo? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean. No, what you said just made no sense. I am also very confused. Yeah, okay. So South Australians apparently don't get that slang. Queensland is very, to anybody else that doesn't understand, very bogan-like. You know how they say in Australia the C word is like a normal word? That's predominantly Queensland. The rest of Australia, we get it. Don't use it that often, but it does happen. But yeah, in Queensland is where it's like predominantly used as a normal thing. Then we have white radio. They didn't export that properly by changing the colors. And it's a CD player. Interesting. So this is probably, and it's upside down. Okay. So this is probably not an 80s car. But yeah, I think this car is interesting. It's a very simplistic, basic design. They haven't put in like huge amount of time in the exterior of it, but there is some really cool exterior things, like this wheel cover sort of thing that they've got going on here. Or is that actually a part of the mod? You know what? No, that's actually the part of the body. Still pretty cool. I like it. I am excited to try it out. I would have just liked more realistic tires. What do we have for brakes? 2 piston, and then it was 1 piston, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next car, which is a duo of cars. These are both from the same one, but this one is meant to be a riced-out version. Neither of them, by the looks of it, have interior. Yep, no. Or windshield wipers. They must have forgotten that. Now they're going to be kicking themselves because I've called them out on it. Shifter offset to the left, interesting. Yeah? Sure. I mean, a shifter can be any way you want it to be, especially if it's got a transmission that doesn't come down the tunnel quite so much. If you have a look there, it was a flat 6, so it will be quite short. And then the transmission doesn't go very far either. So the transmission ends at about here, which means that back here, you'd have to have an indirect sort of like linkage sort of thing. What they do on front-wheel drive cars most of the time is they'll have kind of basically the sort of throttle cable that you had on older cars before electronic throttle bodies. So it's got a sheath on it, and then the cable moves in and out of the thing. Anyway, and that moves the shifter in the gearbox itself. So this probably has just metal linkages going directly into the back of the transmission, kind of like an old Volvo's M47. Yeah, so something like this. But this can be offset to a different side. Now, the reason why I know this transmission in particular is because of the fact that I grew up with Volvos, and I've worked on a lot of them, and I'm still working on them. But yeah, so that's the sort of thing that could exist. So, yeah. Anyway. Full of yobbos? Sure. Does Queensland use the term yobbo still? Is it the 1990s again? I have not heard yobbo in a very long time. Or on Top Gear, which, I mean, that's a little bit different. That's from England. The only Australian thing I know is Smoko. Yep, I know Smoko. Ish a Mazda MX-5. Ah, okay, you're trying to do a full Australian. It's a Mazda MX-5. Very well done there with the writing there. Hold on, is that a Miata? No, it's an MX-5. In America, they call it the Miata, but it is an MX-5. Everywhere in the world, except North America. It's kind of like how in the rest of, in most of the world, Nissan sold as Nissan, but then here in Australia, and I believe in England, it's sold in the early days as Datsun. Kind of like Honda with Acura, that's only North American. Stuff like that. Really weird, peculiar things. Oh, also, Chrysler actually existed here a long time ago, but they were known as Valiant. So that's a little bit of a side thing for you. So we have a car called, from back in the day, a Valiant Charger. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know why they didn't want to just call it Chrysler. Maybe there was some sort of, like, company that used the name before them? But, yeah. Odd choice. Usually the reason why they, like, change names between countries is because there's some sort of cultural thing, or the fact that, they want it to sound less foreign. But Chrysler doesn't sound foreign in Australia. So, what? Weird. ND body makes everything a Miat. Okay. Is it meant to be a MX-5? Yes. The Mazda Miata is also known as an MX-5, which is really annoying. Sure. No, I'm the only one who uses Yobo because of Top Gear. Okay, fair enough. Yobo is pretty common among people I know. Cobber is more northeastern though as well. Cobber is also quite rare here. That is very much a northern a northern Australia sort of thing. Probably over to Queensland sort of side, but also I believe a lot in the hit TV show Home and Away. The most dangerous TV show in the world because it kills people so often. Incredibly often. Along with Neighbours. Don't live on a place called Ramsay Street. You don't wanna. Didn't they call the MX-5 Unos Roadster in Japan? Really? I know the Unos is an entirely different car, and we did get that here in Australia. Oh no, the posh can slang. Oh. I've never been to Cairns, so I don't really know. Like, Burger King is actually just Hungry Jack's. Yep, I know that one. So, here in South Australia, I'm pretty sure that Burger King was taken. So, in certain places in Australia, Burger King is known as Hungry Jack's, which is a fairly commonly known thing. Unos was a sub-brand of Mazda. Oh, was it? It was a type of car here in Australia. Just a model of Mazda. By the way, Car Mighty love MX-5. What? By the way, Car Mighty love... Are you saying that you love the car a lot, or Car Mighty Videos loves the car? Or Mighty Car Mods? I don't know, man. You're a little bit confuzzling me. But yeah, so we got a... Oh, okay. From the back, this actually looks more like a Mercedes. I can't put my finger on what the model of the Mercedes is. Is like an AMG, is it? Just the GT version. Then we got a leather roof that has an exported matte. It's just come out shiny. No windshield wipers, no windshield squirters. The front is fairly basic. It's just got the cutout, not sort of like rounded or anything. Then over on this version, we've got a splitter here. The car isn't really incredibly low, so I don't think that that will scrape. Except under like really hard braking. Depends how stiff the suspension is. You know what, I never actually looked at the engine here. We got a naturally aspirated straight 4-cylinder with a normal intake manifold. Pretty cool. This is non-performance, I don't believe. Then we have 2-piston double wishbone. Then out to the back we have multi-link with a 1-piston. Very Japanese. Multi-link is something that I saw a lot in the 90s around Japan. Not that I lived in Japan. What I mean is a lot around Japanese cars. But yeah. Then we got this big, huge wing on the back here, which I'm assuming this sort of wing, and the reason why I don't use it is because I don't know how to do it, is this is the sort of wing that, oscillates and moves. There's a few videos of a few cars, but one in particular, where, like, you see the car going around on a track day and the wing is, like, moving all over the place for, like, different conditions of your steering and whatnot. Then we have a fake rear splitter, rear diffuser. Same with a fake rear diffuser over here, but there's something weird on it. Get the feeling they must have mirrored this and then forgot to unmirror it. Potentially. Anyway, yeah. I suppose I should actually look what we have in here as well. Multi-link, 1-piston, and... Oh, dual exhaust. That means we've got a different engine. We have what looks to be a 4-valve overhead cam, 90-degree V8, and a sizable one too, by the looks of it. Then in the front we have single piston. Hold on. So they removed the dual piston, smaller brake disc, to put in what looks to be a slightly bigger brake disc, but one piston. Unusual. Not what you would normally see. Anyway, yeah, so I wondered, can we see the crankshaft? No, we cannot. So I don't know if this is flat plane yet or cross plane. Well, I suppose we'll find that out when we start hearing it. Looks like we got a bit of a bonnet bulge. Oh no, bonnet scoop. Interesting. We need more context on that one, lad. Yep, YouTuber call Car Mighty Vids owns an MX-5. Oh, I didn't know that. And he never shuts up about it. Oh. I haven't really watched a lot of that sort of stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't know if it's still happening, but there is meant to be a big collaboration with all of us automation YouTubers and Car Mighty Vids, but he hasn't said anything recently. Also, Muye was meant to be on it as well, but I suppose we'll wait for them to release more videos, and then we'll contact them again to see if they want to do another collaboration. Part of that build and race that I did with the cop cars was me kind of trying to visualize what it would be like to make a rule set for building cars to go up against Car Mighty Vid. So that's actually a little bit of, for myself, a little bit of a rehearsal might be the word. Trial sort of thing. Yeah, so that's really the truth behind that one. This is the time attack version. I'm assuming that's what it is. I forgot what Zenvo has a wing. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, are you calling it this? Is a car that has the movable wing the Zenvo? If so, that does sound about right. Because it's just a weird name that nobody's ever heard of before. It's so close to Venmo, which is another company, entirely different. Little did you know that the 2002 Holden VU utility has a multi-link rear suspension too. The General Motors parts bin is scary. I know that they do have a unibody ute design, which is unfortunate, because then you can't put trays on it if you want to have like a normal tray. But my 2003 BA Falcon has a split tray, which means that it can use an older chassis, and it uses leaf springs, but it can also take quite a lot of weight very easily. I have heard issues with Holdens, and that's why you don't generally see work Holden utes. Well, now you don't see them at all, because the company shut down, all that sort of stuff. I think the two-pot was an export glitch. Are these your cars? Ah, they are your cars. Okay, well, yep. I mean, you're the one that exported them. Oh, that's kind of cool. Sure. Another stream. Let's go. Flamesy, welcome. All right, moving on to the next car. We have a Formula 1 car. You all see the issue with this, right? It's not just me? That is problematic, correct? Yeah. This is not doing the one thing that Formula 1 is particularly known for, and that is ground effect. Now, they weren't the first ones to have ground effect, they have not done it the most, but they utilize it probably more than any other car racing sort of out there. Actually, that's not true. But, like, they go to long lengths to allow the amount of ground effect that they can get to maximize it. That's what they're kind of known for. Like, they spend a lot of money on making sure that their ground effect works properly. This is not going to generate any ground effect at all. It's way too tall. The 2018 Camaro TSRS has that wing, yeah, crazy movement. Okay. Did I say Camaro? I meant Zen. Sorry, my brain's not working too well. I own a UV Commodore in real life, so I do know my stuff on it bloody pisses me off sometimes. What, the car? Or that you know too much? Or the fact that it has multi-link rear suspension in the back? Too many push-ups, tall car. Okay. Get that a fun car, got the new donk setup. Oh yeah, with the big wheels and small tires. Actually spotted the failed attempt at a donk IRL a couple of days ago. Ooh, that's got a... In Australia, that's very rare as well. F1 with a lift kit. Yeah, this thing is meant to be an off-roader, bro. Yeah. I was even sadder when I sat on what I could have imagined. Anyway. Yeah, donks aren't popular here in Australia. We have pushrod suspension, single piston, big disc. Let's move out to the back. We have single piston pushrod. Interesting. The rear is also quite interesting. Usually the rear of these go into a shark fin of some kind. Usually not just a drop-off like that, though, because a drop-off like this will cause a lack of air pressure to be here, which will actually cause lift. So it's not a particularly well-done car. I know it's harsh, but yeah, there's some issues with the design, let's say. Then into the back, where is the engine? Here we go. So we have, ooh, a V6 twin turbo. I hope that this is actually like to spec a Formula 1 twin... No. It is not to spec a Formula 1 twin turbo. Unless they use direct acting overhead cams. Or just overhead cams. Okay, yeah, no. That's, two valve. Interesting. I don't even think that the old turbo V6s from like the 70s or whenever it was that they had them, though they were also, I believe, turbo V8s most of the time. I believe there was some turbo V6s, I think. Yeah, no, I believe they were still double overhead cam. I don't know. F1 cars are single turbo fill, not twin turbo. Nowadays they're single turbo, I'm assuming, but not back then. Back in this day, it would have been actually a proper thing. Yeah, let's move on. We've got then this funky little car from the thumbnail of today's stream. I was torn between doing this one or doing this one, but I just imagined I had the idea of this car just perched on top of a sand dune, and I was sold. I had to do this car. Imagine F1s in the 60s is double overhead cam. Yeah, they were. Even in the 50s, they were double overhead cam a lot of the time. I enjoy the Blue Lad. Lovely little car. It does look pretty cool. Though, surprisingly, it's not as small as one might think. They just kind of make it look small. But it's, yeah, reminded me of like a modified Fiat cross with like, that Renault. Can't remember which Renault I'm thinking of. Wait, is it Renault or Citroën or Peugeot? One of those French car companies. I just can't think of which one. Then in the back, pretty cool. Unfortunately, though, they haven't got, like, any sort of packed up soft top in the back. Or any sort of, like, boot lining. Or door cards. So, not too... Like... There was a reason I made sure it was a low angle. I don't know if that's particularly great. But then the interior. Oh. Why'd they squish it? Okay. They could have done this a little bit differently, honestly. But I do like the fact that they've gone for like... This is an enamel blue paint. Enamel painted interiors back in the day was really a thing. And I love it. Unfortunately, though, I don't like the fact that this thing is all squished up like that. Not fan-diddly-tastic. Then we've got a weird bulge here, which I'm assuming they used to cover up the gap. But it doesn't... oh, sorry. It doesn't look right. We don't even actually have a windshield. So why even bother having a pillar if there's no windshield? Questionable choices have been made. Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. But I still really like it. I think it looks really funky. And I also like the fact that it's like blocked off and whatnot. I wonder if this is meant to be air-cooled. Maybe. I'm not sure. Because, yeah, it doesn't have like a big radiator sort of sized grill. We have in here a straight inline 4 push rod. With... Are they, fuel-saving carbs? If they are, that's pretty awesome. I love it. And then I would have probably suggested with a pushrod engine that this would probably also have a log-style exhaust. They could have had a cast, short, but I would have assumed, being so cheap and car of the people from this sort of 1950s sort of design era, that they probably would have actually had, yeah, the a cast log. I like to use cast logs, but only when it's appropriate. Looks like a nice coastal road cruiser, to be honest. Very comfy drive. It looks like the sort of thing that's meant to go out into a desert. Drive on a beach? That sort of thing to me, personally. I don't know. This car vaguely reminds me of the Mini Moke. It does a little bit, actually. Let's have a look again, because there's a lot of different, like, mini sort of things. Yeah, no, Mini Moke's not the one I was thinking of then. But it does a little bit. Maybe it's the shape of the front? A little bit? No. But yeah, that like a cheap, no roof sort of car. I can get that. Okay, my unrestricted LMH car's rear wheels disappeared when I refreshed BeamNG. I don't know why. Neither do I. Can't see it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't see the resemblance. I think they're eco-carbs. Yeah, they probably are eco-carbs. Then we got Mr. Basic Von Basic here. Interesting. They've tried to add some details to the front bumper sort of area. Oh, okay. You know what? This is exported incorrectly because everything is blocked off by the main body. Yeah, so cutaways didn't work properly when this car was exported, unfortunately, by the looks of it. Which means that I don't know what this car was meant to look like. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably actually a very basic design anyway. This area in the middle, though, was actually meant to be blocked off, so that's kind of cool. I do like the blocked off front grille sort of design. I'm a big fan of it. Red headlights, cheap, no roof, rigid sides. That doesn't have a rigid side. Oh, you mean a ridged side. Sorry, my bad. Ahoy, I have arrived. Okay, welcome, Broconosa, to the stream. Yeah, let's move on to the rest of the car. Oh, look at this one. Oh, they've redeemed themselves. They have windshield wipers. Anyway, moving on. Not where I would have put those mirrors. You can see that it's clearly got the triangle in there, so I would have tried to have fitted it into actually the triangle of the window, but sure, that's a choice. Then into the rear. That's not it, bro. That's not it at all. Yeah, so let's have a look at the rest. I did see that we have a side exit exhaust, a single side. Okay. We have independent... Sorry, not independent. We have the solid axle leaf spring rear suspension with drum brakes. So, I do like the fact that they've gone with, like, proper budget. And look at that! We have a proper ladder chassis as well. That's pretty awesome. Then into the front, we have double wishbone with 2-piston brake disc. So, a mixed match. At the very least. But yeah, okay. Then the engine, turboed. Okay. A big turbo, 5-cylinder, overhead cam. This is reminding me of my contrary vehicle that I made not too long ago. But yeah, so, interesting. Don't have high hopes for it though, unfortunately. We have gone for no wipers to no windows to full seat belts and... Oh, a full set of bells and whistles. I'd call it a winner. Sure. Wipers are one of the hardest things to remember. Yes, it is. I forget them quite often. But yeah, anyway. I also do like the wheels. They didn't just go with like sporty wheels and tires. I do appreciate they are very wide for like what's meant to be a cheap budgety sort of car. So they may have been able to get the car under budget, but the service cost of these tires alone would be really high. So I'm not entirely sold on the whole thing, but at least they've tried. I do like it when people don't just go like, oh, but the car handles like rubbish if I put a solid axle in it, so I put a pushrod suspension in this 1970s looking car. No! Just put it in there. Those cars were garbage. Anyway, that is all of the cars for today. Thanks for watching. No, I'm joking. All right, let's do the actual reviews of the cars. So, the first one, all the wrong buttons, is the AT Sandstorm SS1. Here we go, this one. By Tom012303. Sorry. 01203. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong the first time around. So this is meant to be a 2020 car. But honestly, it doesn't look like a 2020 car. It looks like what somebody thought the future would be in like the 80s, crossed to 90s, then with futuristic Baymax-like headlights. Sure, okay. But yeah, it's $8.64 million. Huh. A 7.5, okay, well that's wrong, $1 million drag car. It's fast on a straight line. So, let's start by taking this one over to the drag strip. Time trials. Set this up on West Coast USA with a drag strip. Bring this bad boy out. Let's see what it can do, shall we? Hey, Space Warrior! Welcome to the stream! Hey everyone, how are you today? I'm doing well, I don't know about them. Some of them said that they're good. Okay, look, testing time. I must go to bed. I'll watch tomorrow, bye. Alright, see you later, Chromatic Schnitzel. Okay, you don't love me enough to hang around for the entire stream! Space Warrior, good day. Same here, Schnitzel. I must be off. Have a good one, folks. Unless I can't sleep. Really, the testing part of this is the least viewed part of my streams. I should really just do like an introductory to each car and not actually bother doing the testing part, because that's when everyone starts to leave. Oh dear. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know what this car is going to be like. It doesn't have a lot of air intake, but it has a lot of air expulsion by the looks of it. A lot of air expulsion. So it's a confusing car. Let's give it a try. Let's see if it's worth that 8 point something or other billion. Lockers? Okay. Well, we crashed into it in 8 seconds, so that's impressive. And then the wing flew through us. Let's try again. This time I'm not going to try driving to the side to see what is affected by the handling. Is that? I feel like the turbo lag is hurting this car by about an entire second, probably, by the end. That's a very speedy car, yeah. I don't know if you said this, but the back looks like the front of a UFO. Does a little bit, and welcome, Daniela Carr. How's it going? I kind of feel bad, but my phone literally has 8% battery, so I've got to go to bed too. Do you not have a charger at your bedside table? I don't care. It's fine. You can leave. It's all right. Yeah, there's too much traction. The wing gouges. And too much turbo lag. So I think if you were to rein in the turbo lag, even if it ended up with considerably less power, this thing would probably do much better. And the brakes are completely cooked. Since the second I crossed the line, I've been holding on the brakes. They've cooked themselves. As you can see down here, they're like nearly 800 degrees. That is the melting temperature of steel, I believe, or at least the starting temperature. Why is it rocking back and forth? What the hell? Oh, okay, it's because I had it set to a manual control gearbox. If you did the streams, would be like 20 minutes. Well, no, that's been an hour and 20 minutes just on that. Or an hour and 10 minutes if you take away the intro countdown. Fixed my issue. Somehow 9 appeared at the beginning of the rear wheel J-beam code. Oh, that's weird. Welcome, Aaron F. How's it going? Here I'm a bit late. A bit too much aero for a drag car, maybe. Depends what you're trying to do. Like, real drag cars actually have proper full aero. Brakes are the temperature of my laptop when playing BeamNG. It's the temperature of my laptop when it's on my lap when I'm watching a video at night. And it's like got all of the vents on the bottom of it blocked by the blanket that it's laying on top of. I don't know why they haven't realized that a lot of people use laptops on their lap in bed, which means that they don't get any ventilation. Why don't they plan around that? I know it'd be a little bit annoying, a little bit problematic to set up, but you would have a much better product for the user experience. Okay, well, now we don't have to worry about that aero that you were talking about. I get the feeling, though, that this thing has a lot more front aero that I haven't removed yet. I keep forgetting most of the audience is Australian. It's like 9 p.m. over here. Oh god, the brakes are terrible! And with no downforce, they're absolutely useless. It is 12:51 over here. To my laptop playing automation at 11 FPS. Oh god, you must have a terrible laptop. Which means it probably wouldn't generate a lot of heat. Because it's terrible. I made a rear-wheel drive drag car that can do sub 5 second quarter miles. My best. Oh, okay. I'm actually going to do a video on drag cars at some point in the future as well, using a proper drag body that I've made, mod body that is. Though I'm going to redo it because it is a bit jank at the moment. I don't time zone good. Don't really think that blowing hot air through keyboard is comfortable. No, it could go up around like where the it's more where it takes it in from than where it expels it from, but I understand. It can go kind of the sides, but like right up against the sill where the screen pops up. That place has been used a few times actually by companies. It causes a little bit of issues with the glue softening over time. My god, this car is terrible. Oh, I did it! I missiled! Damn it, no, I didn't end up on my wheels. This car just doesn't slow down and doesn't take corners. Let's slow down a lot. Get it pointing in the right direction. Nope, too late. We're already at the next corner. Get it straight and then point it at the next corner. It gets too much wheel spin. Goes way too wide. Brakes have cooked, but that's fine. Too much understeer. And now too much to the right. This thing gets like massive torque steer sometimes. Then slow it down for this. You know what, it's not on power. This thing is actually not too bad. The top speed is really high, though. I got nothing for this corner. There's too much rear downforce. Anyway, that's this car. Its realism is low. Its likability is low. It's not particularly actually good on the quarter mile. It does an okay time, but I've beaten that with a rear-wheel drive car. I give this car, like... It is funky looking. It is really cool. I will say, I do like what you've tried to do here. If only to export it properly, I would give this car probably somewhere around a 5 out of 10. Design is cool. Everything else is terrible. It's 2 versus 1. Oh. Yeah, a lot of people have a lot of different times. I get the picture. Mine takes air in the front of the screen. Yeah, MSI does it quite often. This car is a snake. Only instead of shedding skin, it sheds wings. And other fixtures, yes. I'm also finishing a 1957 Le Mans car, but the fixtures are braking when spawning the car, even though changing the brake group to 1. It's problematic. You'll have to try things out. You will get there eventually if you learn how to mod properly. It is very time consuming though. Okay, the next one is the Avellino Tipo 33, which is, here we go. This one was exported by me as well. It is a 1956 car by The Taking Bath. Thank you, The Taking Bath. I believe this is the first car that you've ever submitted. And the front looks sublime. I love it. Death Trap, not so fast, but it has cross-player 125's good luck. Okay, let's take this over to the 1956. You know, let's just take it to the automation test track and do the old race circuit. So we'll start over at the handling circuit for now. Don't say it's bad. It told us only going a goofer going for a straight line. Yeah, I know. But even then, in a straight line, it's not a particularly, like, record-breaking car. All right, let's take this around the old automation test track, which means taking it up the middle bit. F7, that was the wrong button. Oh. No, I got it over here anyway. Control-E. Let's bring in the Avellino Tipo 55? 33. Now, what was the engine? Oh, my God. So, they have fallen into the automation's trap. They've tricked the person that made this car. And unfortunately, what they ended up with was having... my brain doesn't work very well. That wheel spin percentage. And then going, oh, no, you can't have wheel spin. A lot of cars under hard acceleration, like what you do in BeamNG, do actually have wheel spin. You just drive around it. So it's not actually as bad as what you say. I would say that 7% wheel spin is a very grippy car. 30% you're going to start to struggle to control your car, especially if you got a manual. But yeah, so this thing has a ginormously long gear ratio to help compensate for that, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, we got the independent rear suspension with a semi-trailing arm with drum brakes and no front drive into drum brakes on the front. That's right. And then the big hunking triple dual carb, two-barrel carb setup on the push rod V8. And by the sound of it, this is cross-plane, so it's an American-style V8, not the flat plane that you would usually see in Ferraris and stuff. Though I don't know about the older ones, but I just assume that they are flat plane. I'm flooring it. You could see the throttle thing down in the bottom left. Yeah, no. This thing doesn't have great power. And the lockup. I'd actually let go of the brakes, but it was still locking up. Oh my god. This thing is really low power, and that gear ratio is way too long. I think if this thing probably did like 40 in first gear, it would be so much better. And then we're experiencing the full love of cross-ply tires. It's not actually so bad. It's about what you would expect of a car of the era, honestly. Oh, okay, no. You have actually made this thing a little bit uncontrollable. It tank slaps way too much. I mean, I can bring it under control because I've gotten used to driving cross-ply tires, but this is problematic. Oh, a little bit of a drift on there. Yeah, I think if you caused a little bit more understeer, that might actually be a little bit more accurate with this. Also, the brakes were a terrible choice. And I feel as if they've also got like a front bias on the brakes. It's problematic. Is it the worst car from the era? Hell no, there were considerably worse cars. I've driven worse cars than this. But that was more tending to understeer than oversteer. Alright, let's try out the brakes. Yeah. So there is way too much front bias on the brakes, which means you should have taken this back at least once and shifted the bias a little bit more towards the rear. I'm assuming what you were doing there was protecting it from high-speed oversteer. So let's go around and take it down the slingshot and see if it actually handles around the slingshot. Because I think that's what you were trying to compensate for. And we're facing the wrong way. Great. The brakes are already pretty hot. 163 degrees. Ugh. Come on. There we go. Okay. This probably could have done with more brake cooling airflow. Honestly, it's a bit of a problem. Top speed's not so bad, though. It's really pushing quite hard. We're already pretty close to 200 kilometers an hour, which is not bad. Oh. Whoops. What chassis do we have? That is a monocoque chassis by the looks of it. Because that's not space frame, and it's certainly not ladder. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and give this really cool, classic, good-looking car a score. You know what? Actually, another thing that I would have liked to have seen on this car, and something which I do sometimes... Oh, God. Camera was way too fast just then. Is 3D scale out the lights further out the back. So then you got like an actual three-dimensional light fixture coming out the back. I think that would have looked so much better on the rear. Would have looked really nice. As it sits, it's okay, but it could have been better. Anyway, the design is very basic though. It's not the most over-designed car, but I do really like it. I give the design actually pretty good. It's like a 9. No, they've got no interior. So an 8. And they also made me export it, which means that it didn't have the chassis removed. If you had done it yourself and removed the chassis, it probably would have gotten you a bit better score, done the interior, made your own chassis to compensate for the fact that it's missing its chassis. The handling is actually pretty garbage. But it is enjoyable because it's kind of what you would expect, except a little bit too oversteery. And the price is actually really cheap. What was the price again? $20,900. This is actually a phenomenal car for its price and era. I don't know if it would have sold particularly well. I'm assuming that there would have been a lot of aftermarket for better brakes. But I like it. I give this car like an 8 out of 10. Just a few minor tweaks here and there, an interior, fix that suspension, like tank slappy sort of oversteer problem. It doesn't have to have this oversteer solved. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the tank slappiness. If you can tune that out, then this is a really great car. Most of my cars have 60% wheel spin. Yeah, a lot of mine stay about 30. 60% becomes problematic. And an all-wheel drive, it's not quite so bad, but still, it's problematic. Also depends how you tune the gears and final drive. Oh, there's no music playing. Hold on, give me a second. Yep, and that was the end of the list. Let's go to the next page. There we go. Well, what about 17.3% wheel spin and 105 kilometers an hour first gear? That is a very long first gear. I would suggest that that car requires wider tires. It just needs wider tires. Also, I've noticed that these have like a very low profile. And I think that the low profile happened because they wanted to have bigger wheels because the brakes were garbage. So, that's also... But yeah, no, I love the car. It has 2 mirrors, which is not common. A lot of these sportier cars only had none or 1 mirror. So, I mean, that's something you could have done to make the car more unique and more interesting. Give it a little bit more of an in-depth story. But as it stands, I'd say about an 8 out of 10. That's predominantly because you haven't gone berserker. And the design is just really nice. And I like it a lot. Well done. Bad red rolly body? It wasn't too rolly. Safety is bad, but not the worst. Sure. Safety is for people who don't like dying. Sure, okay. Talk about suicide. Not what I would have talked about, but sure. I like it. Pretty good car. But I would like to see you go back and develop it a little bit more. Because as it stands, there is room for improvement. Maybe, actually, you know what would have helped you as well is if you had a longer body. A longer body is less prone to oversteer, which is honestly why a lot of cars were really long back in the day. It's just because that was more comfortable. Because comfortable wasn't oversteering. 125 crossbar tires on the rear and can't go wider. Good luck. Give it less torque. More power instead. But yeah, I like this car, but let's move on to the next one. Oh, that was the wrong button to press. Control E. Let's bring up the next. Ah, yes, the crosscard. EJ22. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Crosscard EJ22 by BeamNG. Less than $5,000. I doubt that. I think that's BS, but sure, okay. Custom mesh, wrappable parts, movable front fenders, working rear mud flaps, spinning radiator fans, working steering wheel. Okay, let's go take this over to... Where would we take this? I mean, I do have the Ghost Desert map ready to go. But I think also this one would do well on... Not Jungle Rock Island. Here we go. Small Island, USA. I think that's where this car might have a bit of fun. Then we'll take it around to do some, like, rallying instead. Why is this song so excitable? Also, I just remembered that I probably have the audio turned down on this game as well. Yeah, there we go. I had to turn down to 2 again. So, when I'm playing this game in my own time, I turn the audio down so I can watch videos in the background at the same time. Let's go ahead and select our vehicle now. The Crosscart EJ22. EJ22 is the Subaru engine as well, I believe. So, I think that's how they kept the price low, by going with an existing engine. Then we have... Is that dual overhead cam? Yeah, it is dual overhead cam. Though it looks like overhead cam 4-valve. I think it might be overhead cam 4-valve. Anyway. That is very loud. Is that too loud for you guys? You know what that might just be. Let's turn that down a smidge. Okay, that should be more not interfering with my voice now. Because hearing my voice is the more important thing. You also notice that the fans in the back are animated. So they've done a lot of work here, and you can see that the steering wheel is animated as well. Ah! Ah! Huh! Okay. Oh, God. A bit roly-poly. I think that... Oh, you know what? Yeah, nah. This thing could have done with considerably softer suspension. The problem is here is... you're not getting really much flex, so if you're ever going any sort of, like, difficult terrain, you can see that the wheels aren't properly flexing. Hold on. Where's a good example? I think if we go right here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Hold on. Let's back up a little bit. Damn it. It was showing it there for a second. Oh, you know what? No, it's showing it on the back. There we go. You know, and no, the back is soft. It's the front that's like... The sway bar is too stiff. And I'm assuming that's to add more traction to the rear, because I get the feeling that this thing probably suffers from snap oversteer, so they did a lot of suspension work to get it to work the other way. Can do with more ride height? Yeah, maybe. Depends what they're trying to do. I don't know if rear ride height is going to solve the issue. Ah! I just think that the suspension is too stiff for an off-road vehicle. It's going to be really uncomfortable. I do like the fact, though, that they went with just rear-wheel drive and didn't go, oh, well, you know what, we'll just go front-wheel drive. We'll say that it still costs $5,000. A lot of people just cop out like that. And I don't mind if they do, just don't try to paint it as like a realistic sort of vehicle. Ah! Okay, so this thing is, a little skittish. Lots of oversteer. I get the feeling that that's because the weight is really incredibly rear bias. As you can see, I'm feathering so much and the thing is still oversteering. What they probably should have done is had even less wide front tires. So like narrower front tires would have really helped with reducing the oversteer that we're getting. Because now I have to like feather it way too much. Let's try resetting and seeing if there's something wrong with the suspension. No, it's still doing it. And then lockups for this is not so bad. Okay, so it's kind of enjoyable. Let's try out some different configurations though. So that was the wrong button. Control W. Something about if I change something and hit apply, sometimes the texture comes back. Let's go rear toe in and then apply. No, the texture is not coming back, unfortunately. Let's see if... Oh, that was the wrong button. Let's see if a little bit of toe in has fixed the issue. No. It still wants to tank slap and oversteer too much. And then it becomes uncontrollable. Oh, you know what? This is reminding me now, when I did that reversey 180, is Forza Horizon 5? You just can't reversey cars properly, and it sucks, I hate it. Why can't you do proper reversies in Forza Horizon 5? I know that the game isn't based upon real physics, but like an arcadey sort of like a calculation of what you might expect to have for a fun driving game. But that means that things like that happens where you can't reversey your cars properly. I like it. Let's try out some even more different things. So once again, wrong button. We have engine NA. We have engine turbo. Interesting. Once again, no. Yeah, no texture. That's unfortunate. And no sound. Wrong buttons again. We can hear that, but we can't hear the turbo engine. And the fans have gone. So this is an electric car. And BeamNG does not know how to drive the transmission. Let's just move that over quickly. There we go. Good. All right. Back on the road. Wheel spin ahoy. Oh, this car is struggling. Oh, the wheels are really loud when you don't have engine sounds. My God. Oh, oh, hey, whoa, hey, whoa, lots of oversteer. All right. Jesus, Ekaimin was too much time on his hands. Has too much time on his hands. 320 Newton meters torque and 300 horsepower from a 3-liter V12 with 6 dual carburetors. Yeah, reduce some of the torque still. The music is fire. I like the music. No texture engine. Can do a bit more with ride height maybe. Kind of depends on where they tune it though. Electric carbon. Yeah, a little bit. Wrong buttons. Let's send this back to naturally aspirated. Transmission. Okay, no, that's still basic. We can take the turbo off if we wanted to. Transmission, still just transmission. We can't make it all-wheel drive. Front wheels? Front wheels tarmac. Okay. Oh, interesting. But then we lose the guard. Oh, they actually made the guards turn with the wheels. Except, does it move a bit? No, it doesn't move a bit. It's just the way in which the suspension works. Then the rear, we have McPherson strut. No. Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot. Let's have a look at tuning. No, there's nothing there. So all the other things they said that this could do, custom mesh, swappable parts, moving front fenders. Okay, so swappable parts seems to be basically only the engine. Got only the one steering wheel, mud flaps, fuel tank. Okay. That's normal. That's default. You can always change your horn in your car. Yeah, so I like the car. Lots of attention and love went into this car. I like the fact that you've gone like full custom. Unfortunately, though, you haven't figured out why you've stuffed up the thing. And I think I know why the materials are stuffed up, and I've gone into it a few times in a few different videos. You could look it up if you want to. Try small tires. I think the tires are exactly the same size. They just meant more for road as opposed to off-road. Let's go front tires tarmac and rear tires tarmac. Oh, they're wider. Okay. So on... Nope, still oversteery. Yep, nope, that's a problem. So, what you don't want is a car that has natural oversteer for public road use, because that causes crashes, and then the word starts to get out that you got a dangerous car, and very few people will buy it. Like, only the, like, people that are true car lovers that think they're good enough will actually bother buying it. The rest of the people will be like, nah, I just want a sporty car, want to have something that impresses the girls. I know that this is not a road car. Even still, you generally don't want to do that. Like I suppose quad bikes get around it. They're deadly and dangerous. I was going to say dangerous and deadly. Yeah, but they still sell, so I suppose it's not so bad. I like it. It is incredibly loud, though, for me. Yeah, anyway. Let's turn that engine off. Let's give this thing a score. The design is pretty likable. I do like it, except for the fact that there is no harness bar with any sort of seatbelt. The fact that the engine textures don't work is a bit of a bummer. The fact that you've gone with 4-valve overhead cam is weird. I wouldn't have done that. I do like the fact that you put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, it is, unfortunately, also no pedals. Flawed. I'd give this car... I don't know, what do you guys reckon? I'm thinking somewhere around an 8. Like, it's close, but there are some problems. And you'd probably get an extra 1.5 points purely in just fixing those, like, few little things. Fixing the suspension will probably get you really close to a 10, because this is pretty cool. Does it have an airbag? Not by the looks of it. But then again, once again, this is not a road car. As you see there, it's just got a normie horn, but no actual thing. I don't know what this is meant to be, but it's something. Anyway, yeah, I like it, but let's have a look at the next car. The next car is, yes, the Le Mans car. Let's take that. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I've deactivated Spa. Then I forgot to open up Spa. Give me a second. My brain don't work so good. There we go. Okay, opening up Spa. It has tubular chassis, so it's nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They've got a lot of effort in there. And they've done, like, a lot of cool J-beam after export modifying, which I think is pretty cool. I like it when I see that sort of stuff. You don't see it too often. I think that's probably, like, the 3rd or 4th one that has, like, proper... tuning after it's been exported. But yeah, so now we have this absolutely beast of a car. What was it called again? DragonWorks Dragon Killer. So this is one I exported for them. This is a 2020 car. It is $5.12 million, 3,000 horsepower plus all drive, Le Mans style aero, and it has max brakes, which do nothing. The engine might not export out with 3,000 horsepower with the new update. I don't know what that means. Here we go. What power do we have here? $3,300 horsepower. And once again, a very loud car. I'm going to turn the game audio down. My god. Audio. Turn that down to like half. Then let's bring up the UI thing, get rid of that. Okay. So a little bit more power than what I thought. This is all-wheel drive, so it's not actually a Le Mans car. And look at that wheel offset compared to those brakes. That is so funny. 3 pistons and 3 pistons. So this is also not Le Mans because there's limitations on how much a wing can overlay. So let's have a look at LMP1 specifically. What? There. You can see that basically the wing doesn't really protrude back beyond the rear part of the body, and that's because there's actually rules limiting it. So, yeah, you're not going to see overhang like what we've got here. And that's a lot of overhang. So, yeah, also, that's a lot of jiggle. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Let's go Control T. Okay, so luckily the wing has exported, even though it does look very rotated. Oh, you know what, actually, hold on. It might not actually be rotated. It might have been just scaled 3-dimensionally. No, I think it is rotated. Anyway. Interesting. I'm not actually sure if I've said hello to you yet, Pontus, but welcome, Pontus, to the stream today. Sorry for the delayed hello on that. Holy Wing Shi. Yep, I get it. You gotta try top speed of this thing. With wings, it's going to be less top speed, so what would be the point of doing a top speed run? I think they mean the upcoming turbo update. Oh, okay. You want me to find the PDF for the regulations? Nah, I'm fine. I've looked it up. I know that there's regulations on the amount of overhang there is. I doubt that that's within regulation. Jelly splitter? Jelly front end. Entirely. The entire front end is jelly. There's some weird stuff happening. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Thanks, lol, no problem. Well, it looked speedy. Yeah. Problematic is the word I would call this. So, Control T, let's have a look. So the nodes themselves aren't, and beams and collision mesh aren't jiggling. It's just the way in which automation exports. Okay, we get torque understeer, then understeer. This thing has major problems with understeer. Yeah, I'm turning full lock, nothing. Turning full lock, nothing almost. We're not even going particularly fast. This car is garbage. Oh dear, I'm sorry. But this is not a good car. Look at that understeer. That's full lock. I should not be understeering that much. Alright, let's give it a quick reset. Control T. There's your problem. You've got a front lip, but you don't have a front wing. Lips don't add downforce, spoilers don't add downforce, only wing fixtures add downforce. So, yeah, unfortunately, they've created so many cardinal sins on this car. They've copped out and just gone, oh, I'm just going to go all-wheel drive because rear-wheel drive is shitty. But that's because you made 3,000 horsepower. That doesn't fit Le Mans regulations with the amount of overhang on the rear wing. The brakes suck, and the understeer is hugely terrible. Let's, see if we can fix that right now. Is that enough? We just remove one of them. Okay, so I have a little bit more steering back now. But it's still not great. Yeah, I feel like the brakes are unbalanced. That's why it's, the ABS is overstating its welcome. Oh, and they've also used the one of the hardest bodies in automation to use. Big mistake. There's a mistake that every new player falls into. Please. Damn it! Alright, yeah, you know what? Let's try removing more rear aero. There we go, okay. Now we just have one. aeroplane. I forgot that there was an extra one down there. This thing is feeling already a little bit more lively because I can actually control it now. This thing is becoming less garbage by removing wings. But then again, it's still really hard to control. It's so hard to pull up. Now with the fact that the rear tires have less traction, the brakes have become even worse. This car is really hard to control. My god. Let's remove all of the rear aero now and see if that helps us even more. So, goodbye. Not sure which one. No, it wasn't that one. No, it wasn't that one. There we go. And then that one. Then that one. There we go. Okay. Basically no aero at all on the rear now. Unfortunately, I've maybe removed a little too much. Oh dear. Car gets a 2 out of 10. It sucks. Let's move on to the next car. The Eiffel RR6T. Let's have a look. Okay. This is by... Hold on, what was the last car by? Yash Plays. You know better, Yash Play. You've been here for quite a while. This is by Ozymandias. Okay, Mandias, welcome. And thank you for submitting your car. I believe this is your first one as well. This is a 1985 car that is $50,600. My head was mixing up the Citroen MX and the Subaru SVX, and I had an idea. So, French and Japanese both look like they do well off-road. Let's take this over to the desert track. Oh, that was the wrong thing to do. Yeah, Ghost Desert. Okay, we'll try this one out in Ghost Desert. Since I think that might actually work. Too much rear downforce, as I thought. I think it's one of those tire wall huggers. You mean wall riders? Yeah, collision mesh issue. Too much rear. You can turn the fixture collision off. Can you turn the fixture collision off? No. You have to do that in J-Beam. Let's change the car. Last time I made a car this jiggly, it was because I put a Countach V12 in a Yugo. Oh dear. Never understand why people like the LaFerrari body. Not only is it hard to use, it's one of the ugliest supercar bodies. I don't know about that. I think if you do a lot of work, it actually looks pretty good. The problem is most people don't do a lot of work. I have 1,600 hours on automation, and I never used that body. I hate it. Wow. That's a lot of evasion. I think kind of like the Ferrari 1K remakes that were given to me recently actually look pretty good. It just, the effort has to be there. The will and the drive to push to get that thing completely finished has to be there. Yeah, no, that's, yeah, no, there's also a power output limit. It's usually around 600 horsepower for hybrids and around 700 for naturally aspirated. I'm not sure what it is that you're saying there, Flamesy, but anyway. Is this car all-wheel drive? It is. So, this is meant to be a rally car. Oh, Lord, we got track. Oh, then it changed gears and lost all its speed. Damn it. All right, let's bring in a rally map. I believe there's the Douglas Rally. Douglas Rally. Let's turn on Pikes Peak as well. And Rally Forest. And let's go ahead and pick one, shall we? Try taking this out to one of those, and then we'll take it on to Bitumen, because I'm pretty sure it's meant to actually be on Bitumen. So we've got Douglas Rally, Midnight Rally, and Rally Forest. I think we're going to go with Douglas Rally because Douglas Rally is easier. It's just like a little bit wider and a little bit less cliffy. Though more trees, unfortunately. Yeah, I know you guys were talking about the LMP one. What time is it at my place? I've gone over that already. It's about 1:30 a.m. currently. Alright, let's try out the car on this track now, shall we? It's meant to be an all-wheel drive Subaru sort of successor, and Citroen was also big in rally, so this car should do really well in rally, right? For Le Mans Hyperclass, the power output is... Oh, okay, that's what you mean. But that hasn't started yet, has it? That starts next year? Or did that start... No, I think that starts next year. I don't know, my brain ain't working too well. It might not be a rally car. The SVX wasn't much of a rally car. It had all-wheel drive. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be a smart-ass. Because Subaru's, like, thing was rally back in the day. So everyone just assumed it was good at rally. Even though I don't think they rallied it much. Damn, you know, I think I will read the LMP car for the next... Oh, I will ready an LMP for the next week. Okay, cool. But you know, Reflect, welcome to the stream, by the way. I'm sorry I haven't said that earlier, if you've been here. No? There is a long waiting list on cars, so it'll be a while until I get around to it. Sorry. Read the description. It's all in there. Haha, I'm finally in a stream. Welcome Shadow353 to the stream. How's it going? Oh yeah, if everyone likes the stream so far, you could go ahead and tap that like button. Little bit of a tappy. Just tap it in. Let's give it a good hard go. Let's see if this car remains at its roots a good rally car. Ah! Oh god, what the... That was some weird lag. Let's try that again, shall we? I feel like the first gear is too long and is hurting... Yeah, we're going nearly 90 kilometers an hour in first gear. Okay, yeah, no, we get a bit too much understeer, unfortunately. Let's see if we can rein that in next time by slowing down more for the corner. So this one is a particularly tight corner. The thing doesn't like to oversteer. I feel like this thing has a large front bias. So not only has it got the wrong tires and wheels, it's also not particularly great off-road at all. Ah. It doesn't switch directions very well, and the first gear is incredibly long. Ah, god damn it. Yep, we've lost the front tire there. I mean, it wasn't lost, it was just not attached properly anymore. Okay, yep, and... Okay, good. Damn it! Alright. I think we're done taking this one around a rally track. We've learned that this is not a good rally car. This is not good. I'm going to say that it's probably meant to be more of a Japanese sort of car, so we're going to take this one to Hirochi Raceway now. Onwards, Subi Baguette. There's a worrying lack of BTCC Super Tours and Viet Supercars in the backlog, I believe. Yeah, you know what? I think there's only ever been one BTCC car ever submitted so far. And we're like 200 or more cars in now. I think we're around 260 cars now. Let's have a look. No, 248 is the final car of today's thing. Though then again, like probably 50 of those, so about 200. But yeah, let's give it a proper hard go in here. They tried to remove wheel spin altogether. I had to clutch dump that and it's still bogged down. So I think if this thing had like a really much shorter gear ratio, say you were doing more like 50 in first gear or 60, this car would be better. Then we have an oversteer issue, which is not something you want on a normal road car. Not so bad, not so bad. Whoa, what is with the texture loss on the map? Okay, so the latest update that BeamNG did really broke my game. And as you can see, we're now getting texture loss issues. I wonder if I back up, what happens? Yep, no. Textures from a distance are all broken now. What has happened to my install? I think I'm going to have to, like, uninstall and reinstall, which means I'm going to have to back up all my mods so far. But I don't know why. Why is there a texture loss issue? Weird. Very weird. Okay, around a track, it understeers too much. So, it oversteers on the way in, then it understeers. So I get the feeling that the thing... You know what I think happened? I think that they were having too much understeer, so they tried to induce oversteer. Unfortunately, that means that the induced oversteer causes oversteer, but then the true colors of the car shines when it starts to understeer. And I believe that's a part to do with the driveline choice that they've chosen here. It's just not an enjoyable car. But I think with a little less oversteer, same amount of understeer, this would actually be a very realistic car. Doesn't have a lot of body wobble either. What year is this? 1985. Feel that this thing should have probably more body roll. It is a very stiff body. I think softer suspension would make this car more realistic. So, yeah, overall realism on this car is so low that you can barely see it. I'm having to handbrake to get this car to handle nicely. So let's bring it around to here. And I didn't do it early enough, or still carried too much speed. Let's try some... Oh, we got a flat front tire. Great. That'll help with traction. Ah! Damn it! Anyway, I mostly like the design and its quirkiness. The realism is not there at all. It's really not. Handling... meh. The overall enjoyment and feel of it is actually quite low as well. So a 4 out of 10? The design is good. It's quirky. But I feel like you could have done even a little bit more. As it stands, yeah, that's the score I'm giving it. But yeah, I still did enjoy it. Just not that much. I may try to make a BTCC car once the update drops. Yeah, sure. Cool. Do like a Volvo and chop the cylinder head in half. Or actually into threes, and take out the middle section so then you can get around their rules and regulations. So, Volvo, known for being like the safe car company, surprisingly cheats a lot in racing. Like, not cheats, but like, gets around the rules quite often. They've done that a bunch of different times as well. And one day I'll probably tell you about the time that Volvo cheated around car numbers that needed for homologation specials. Alright, now we're going to look at the Mazda MX-5 Roadster Coupes, and we'll leave it here on this track because it's Japanese and we're on a Japanese track. Though it does look like a Mercedes from the rear. It really, really does. The 850 BTCC is an attempt as well. What do you mean an attempt? You mean you've attempted it, or you're going to attempt to make it? I would like to see if you could replicate that car entirely. Or if you could even do the one that Peter Brock drove here in Australia. Peter Brock being a very famous race driver that died in the mid-2000s in a classic car rally, unfortunately. But yeah, like a big V8 supercars kind of guy. Did lots of racing through the years. One car in which he raced was a Volvo 850R, on a, what went on to become the V8 supercars after they went, you know what, we just want everyone to have rear-wheel drive V8 90-degree 5-liter engines. Yeah, that's kind of a weird choice that they made. I don't know, man. But yeah, so this car feels nice. It's got a reasonable amount of power, and turn traction control off to see how it handles. The understeer was quite controllable, the oversteer was not really a problem. Felt quite nice. Oh, we're getting a bit of oversteer now. But it's more of like a 4-wheel oversteer than a rear oversteer. So more like a drift, sorry, than an oversteer is what I should say. I like it. I don't know why there's missing textures though, that's still bugging me out. That is so weird. Why is that happening? Anyway, yeah, I like it. But let's try out the riced out version, as they call it. The one where they put on the right amount of pistons on the front brakes, as opposed to what they did with this car, where they accidentally put 2 on the front, and that was totally their mistake and not an export glitch. I'm joking. Let's have a look. Never knew he drove an 850R? He very much did. Peter Brock Volvo. Yep, there we go. So it wasn't the estate. I kind of forgot that. But yeah, so he had the 850R. There was a Peter Brock version car sold in Australia, I believe, as well. They are very expensive. I looked at one. I thought, you know what? I like Volvos, and I like the fact that one was designed for a race car driver. Let's have a look. And I saw the prices and immediately went, nah, mate, nah, that's not it. But yeah, let's give this a try now. Understeer is my first adjective. Lots of it. That is very unfortunate. Lots of understeer. Oh my god, so much understeer. So dive under brakes and then understeer the rest of the way. I'm trying to induce oversteer. I have to use a handbrake to get the oversteer to happen. Are you still here, Chromatic Schnitzel? Because bro, welcome Asim. How's it going? My goodness, this is unfortunate. Yeah, I have to handbrake it to get this car to turn. That's not good. Not good to hear at all. Unfortunately, Chromatic Schnitzel, you have made a trash dump of a car. Just not good. Alright, so. The main base car was actually quite nice. The realism was there. The design was okay. I don't like the just cut-in grille sort of design you had. That's all not what Mazda is about. They're like a fairly rounded, soft body. That one I'd give like an 8, 7.5 maybe. This one, a 4. Realism's not there, fun's not there, handling's not there. Design is still like questionable. Farm Sim 2022 got released today. Grinding that now. Ooh, okay. I do like Farming Simulator, but it has been a while. I even have a few videos on it. If you want to check it out, I actually go into some live action skit stuff with it as well. Okay, next is the Samarati Race F1. I get the feeling that that's meant to be a an Italian F1 car. Where is it? There we go, the top one. This is by Creator. Thank you, Creator, for dropping this. That feels so wrong. Thank you, Creator. You have done me proud. Anyway, so this is the Formula 1 car that has no ground effect by the looks of it. My first F1 car I made, used Sport, ECC, and Comfort always. No ESC is impossible to drive. I will be the thing of that. Now, I'm not going to take this to anywhere else because Japan does Formula 1, so I believe it should be done here. Oh god, they got the RPM to go really high. Traction control is really hampering me here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you taking off on your own? I'd let go of the steering, the accelerator, but it was still accelerating? That's weird. Also, have a look at the difference in like a tire width between the front and the rear. The fronts are so narrow compared to the rear, and that's probably because they didn't realize that they needed a lot of downforce on the rear for a car like this. And then oversteer. So I can see with the ESC, this car is already pretty hard to drive, and ESC is killing it. Look at that. Yeah, no, unfortunately, you have not made a good car so far. So let's turn ESC completely off, and that will be the judge of whether this car is drivable. What was that? Why was it driving on its own? I just had under 2,000 hours in Farm Simulator 19. Addictive game is all I can say. So, This is... Oh, okay. That's a brake imbalance. You have a massive brake imbalance. So the car would be drivable if you had watched my videos on how to like tune cars and stuff. Ah! This car is cursed. It's a cursed car. It does what it wants to do. Even though I'm meant to be in charge. Jesus. Oh, and there's so much talk that the car drives itself. Red Bull 2010 ECU? What? What happened in 2010 with a Formula? Okay. Liftoff oversteer to the max. Huh? Yeah, no, this car is garbage. With and without electronic stability control. I get this car, and the fact that it's really tall. 1 out of 10. Let's move on. No, they've tried. So, like, they've gone a full body off, which is actually not easy. Trying to make a body off look particularly good, and the fact that they would have had to have gone in and removed the chassis, I do appreciate that you've gone to some effort. Unfortunately, you haven't really nailed the suspension of the car. That is quite the collision mesh as well. I've also talked about how to deal with collision mesh shittiness, but I suppose you don't really notice it. Oh, you've also got a dual clutch. Yeah, nah, probably shouldn't have done that. 4 out of 10. Lots of effort, lots of heart. Big failures everywhere, unfortunately. But yeah, let's move on. Next one is, the SMW Type B convertible. Here we go. By Yugo Dealer. So we've seen Yugo Dealer before. They have submitted other cars, I believe. This is 1956, so this is an old car. $10,200, so this is an every person's car as well. It's a 1956 SWM Type B convertible. I haven't tested it yet, so it might suck, but have fun. All right. Is SWM Type B convertible a thing? Is there something I don't know? Let's, search Google for that. No, it's showing up with a motorbike. SWM. Well, we got a Wikipedia. Let's have a look at the Wikipedia. SWM Automotive. In 2016. Okay, so, yeah, no, I have no idea if this is meant to be anything in particular. Let's have a look at bringing it to the desert, because that's where I first started it off. And it looks like an off-roady sort of car that you might have used back in the day. I forgot which year precisely, but the program... Oh, they programmed the ECU to make the engine keep blowing exhaust gas for their blown diffuser. Oh, okay. That's funny. That's really funny. Because 10K in 1957 would get you not quite a nice house. You're assuming that automation takes inflation into account, which it does not. So, what it actually costs in 1956... I wonder if it can go backwards to 1956. I'm gonna make this 10,000. Okay, so this car would have cost $983. I doubt you could have gotten a house for $983. Anyway, let's try it out. I found in JBeam a line of code that says brake group, change the brake group type to 1. Should I put a 1 in the middle of the quotation marks? Yes, you should. That is where it normally goes to set it. I'm not sure if you're meant to change it to a 1 or to a 0, but whatever is opposite to what fixtures are. Suspension will be non-breakable, but fixtures will be, which will be found in the main J-beam. I always thought automation takes inflation into account. Nope, no it doesn't. Anyway, it's just in older times there was less technology, meaning that the stuff was cheaper, I believe is what the general gist is meant to be. So, we have solid axle coil spring, which is interesting. Probably I thought that a car being so cheap would have leaf springs, especially back in the 1950s. We have drum brakes on a leaf chassis with double wishbone on the front with more drum brakes. Also, with the design of these wheels, no brake cooling is going to be getting through that bad boy. Nice. I also love the fact that the gear shifter is really tall, though that is a sequential shifter. Let's see how quickly it shifts gears to see if it's actually meant to be a sequential. Nope, it is not a sequential gearbox. Oh. This is actually quite fun to drive around here. Though it could probably do with wider tires to help it from stop sinking. Though I think the width of the tire doesn't actually really affect that, does it? We're rooster tailing off the front tires as well. It doesn't have front drive. So I'm not sure exactly why it's rooster tailing quite so much off the front. Weird. It is a manual? Oh, is this your car, Flamesy? No, it's by Yugo Dealer. Yeah, with the length of the time in which it takes to do that, yeah. Why is there, front diff? Oh, it is all-wheel drive. Oh, four-wheel drive, sorry. Okay. So this is actually meant to be an off-road car. My bad. I don't know how I missed the fact that this thing has front drive. I'm an idiot. Though it probably would then have a solid axle. Because independent suspension with drive wasn't really common until later. The shifting timing tells me it's manual. Yeah, okay. The thing is just as off-road as Bronco Sport. I don't know much about Broncos. I am not not American. Sorry, I was just thinking about the Japanese cars there for a bit. Okay, so this is kind of funky and kind of cool. I like it. It is meant to be for this sort of thing by the looks of it. Let's look up the rear diff. And see how this thing handles now. Oh, a little bit more oversteery. Nice. I doubt this thing would ever get bogged. This looks like a pretty good sort of car that you would take out into the middle of nowhere. Let's go ahead, undo the front drive shaft, and undo the rear locker so then we can get a little bit more oversteer, but then manage it by not having a locker. You know what? Still controllable. Let's take this thing up a dune, though. Whoa. Oh, that gearbox. Not happy, bro. Oh, look at that. It's also really short gear ratios. I appreciate it. They got a low-powered car. Nice. Well done. Okay, let's control this gearbox manually. Weird. Whoa, this thing bogs down a lot. This is just fun. I am just enjoying driving this car. Let's go take this to a track, though. What track would we take this to? Probably automation test track? You know what? No, Italy. Let's take it to Italy and, like, kill all of our frames in, like, one go. This thing is just... Okay, I've already read that part. Okay, cool. We are up to date. We are now just waiting the 10-hour load time. That is this freaking map. I don't know why it takes so long, honestly. Also, I feel like Italy should probably have a racetrack on it. Just saying. Like, a full-blown racetrack. Is there actually F1 in Italy? Now that I think about it, I'm not actually entirely sure. Oh, I don't know. There's gunk on my keyboard. I better clean that out at some point. Can you just load already? I'm talking about my keyboard! That's how slow this thing loads. All right, thank God. Let's give this one a bit of a try around here. It feels like an Italian car. There is F1 in Italy? Okay, cool. Even with flooring it, this thing doesn't feel particularly sprightly. So, let's undo the front drive shaft. Try again. We're getting texture loss here too. God damn it. Okay. So with the clutch jump, it feels a little bit more lively, but it really doesn't want to get going. Is this car really heavy? Let's check out the weight. No, it's only 841 kilos. That's actually surprising. This car isn't as small as it looks. And it has a lattice chassis with a solid rear axle. This thing should be a lot heavier than what it is. I wonder what it is that they've done to make this thing so light. Is it made of fiberglass, maybe? I don't know. Yep, all the texture loss. I'm going to have to reinstall this game. This game is just broken now. I don't know what's happened. Oh yeah, Monza. Obviously. I completely forgot. And wait, Imola? I didn't know that Imola was... Okay, well... My knowledge of it is really bad, but yeah, I forgot about Monza. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Monza is Italian. Okay, so if you detach the front drive shaft, this car becomes nice on the road as well. Though, I don't know if they would have had a detachable front drive shaft in a car of this era, unless it was like really expensive. So you probably wouldn't have been able to undo it. So we'll try it again in a minute. Also, you probably wouldn't have like switchable diff locks in such a cheap car. So, diff locks in the rear is a double-edged sword. It increases understeer, natural understeer, but then it also increases power oversteer. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Also, we're seeing texture loss everywhere. Yeah, okay, this thing understeers too much. Let's go ahead, turn those diff locks off, and put on front drive shaft. If this thing is meant to have lockers, we'll just put the lockers on all round and just see how this car goes. So now we're testing how this car would probably drive from the factory. Even clutch dumping, this car doesn't want to lose any sort of traction. I feel also as if this thing has, not cross splice. I feel like this thing has, radials, which would not have happened. It's almost got the tire profile of cross splice, but I just don't know. It's really hard to tell. Is that water? Wait, what? No. That's the map. Hold on. Well, that was... Yeah, no. That's the entire map. What on earth has happened here? What? I don't understand. Why is the map on the ground? That is so weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. Oh, that was the wrong button to press. What is happening? Yeesh. You know what? Even with lockers and four-wheel drive engaged, this is not a terrible car. For $10,000 something, this is a pretty good price. With the fact that this thing is very utilitarian. It could probably have done with a better gearbox, though. Like, maybe just a little bit longer. A little bit of give in the tires is not a bad thing. So, you know what? Actually, no, the gearbox is fine. What they should have done, oh god damn it, is put narrower tires on it. And this car would have been absolutely fantastic. So, the fun of driving the car is pretty decent. Though it doesn't feel fantastic. The realism is pretty close. Not really there. The design is quite nice. I do think this car looks really good, though I think they could have done a slightly better job with the interior. Tell me if I'm being too harsh. But a 7.5? I think the design is really nice. But that's about the only thing that's like really topping the charts. Everything else is a little bit... odd choices. Not the choices I would have made for a budget car. He meant in general? What? I'm confused. Fun fact, the FS22 has manual transmission mode, but it sucks. You can start... What's the FS22? There's no car here called the FS22, so I don't know what the FS22 is. There's a manual transmission mode, but it sucks. You can start the tractor in 15th gear, and it won't stall it. Wow, that's interesting. Weird. Interesting road? Yeah, it wasn't interesting. They missed the rear hatch cover, so yeah, 7.5 is kind of right. Yeah, they also did, yeah, you're right, forget to put in some sort of, like, anything there. Any sort of, like, theft protection, maybe even. Just, like, a cap. But it probably would have had a convertible roof. So, yeah. I think 7.5 is being actually quite generous now that you remind me of that issue. I like it, but it's flawed. Ah! And now we've died. No seatbelts, we've just flung right out. Even the seats have flung themselves out. They missed the rear hatch. It's just there if you want to use it, but it doesn't have any effect. Sure. Okay. Let's go back up to the top again. I like this car. Problematic, though. I would love to see that car come back with the finishing touches, though. This car looks really cool, and there was a reason why I used it as the thumbnail cover. The what? The what? Itiri S5. I get the feeling that sounds like a Japanese map, so we're going to take this back to Hirochi Raceway. Wherever Hirochi... here it is, Hirochi Raceway. The Watatiri S5 CP. CP stands for cheese pizza, probably. And this is by Swanee1470. Welcome and thank you. I believe that is your first car that you've ever submitted. So let's see if we can enjoy it. This is a 1990 car. There are some textures missing. Some fixtures missing, as I've marked it here. And it's $17,600. So it's not expensive, but it's not a really cheap car. It's just like a good price. $10,500 is incredibly cheap, though. Anyway, so it's a cop car with no livery. Oops. Should probably take this one out onto the highway then. Not so much on the racetrack itself. But yeah, kind of ugly. Then we've got the 5-cylinder turbo engine in here. No front drive, 2-piston brakes, lattice chassis, and leaf spring rear suspension. Very odd choices. Oh, automatic slush box. It's got a slush-o-matic in this thing. Nice. Ah! Ah, damn it. Well, that sucked. I can't clutch dump it. So the thing is just really slow off the line. Is this first gear? Over 90 kilometers an hour in first gear. That's too long of a first gear, unless we're... Oh, it's a 3-speed. Okay. I kind of get it. You'd probably not do it, though. Maybe you could just do it with narrower tires to save money. Also, the fender flaring looks very peculiar. Not how I would have done it on a 1990 car, was it? Yeah. Weird. Hey, Thomas Piscatelli. Welcome! Yeah, so... I don't like this car. I know that it hasn't exported correctly. There's just a lot of weird things about it that make me feel uncomfortable. Oh, okay. We've got natural oversteer. Not power oversteer, just natural oversteer. So it doesn't have enough power for power oversteer, but it has, what would you call that? Liftoff oversteer and just straight oversteer. Inertia oversteer as well. Then understeer if you just like kind of try to reduce it. It's a very weird car. Let's try going around some more tricky corners, though. You know, more realistic sort of corners. Okay, you know what? There it actually felt lively. Let's brake, turn in. Not so bad. Not so bad at all. Whoa. A little bit of drifto. Drifto burrito. Then understeer. Just diving heavily. I'm thinking I'm going to give this car a 2 out of 10. I feel that they kind of rushed this car. Like, as in, like, they went, I'm happy with this car, cool, let's release it. As opposed to, like, really delving deep, thinking hard and long about what you can do to improve a car like this. It's just, unfortunately, not test-driven. That's what I'm going to say. I feel like this car wasn't test-driven at all. Because as it currently stands, not so fantastico. I just don't like it. It's not fun. And having a look at this rear engine with the glitched out export, which I do keep telling people, put it as a .zip and it'll export the way you want it to, most likely. I think this car gets, yeah, a 3 out of 10. So everybody, I hope you have enjoyed today's stream, because that is the end of the stream. Oh, right at the end of a song as well. Let's go ahead and pause that so it doesn't keep playing. And let's start winding down. I hope everyone has enjoyed it so far. And that means you, Thomas. And Asim, thank you for coming by. And thank you, Reflec, for coming by. Thank you, Crownless and Flame Z, for coming by. Who else have we got in here? Ah, Space Warrior. Did I say you yet? No, I haven't. Thank you for coming by again. Very much appreciated. If I said Crownless, yes, I have said Crownless. Who else we got in here? Broken Ursa. Thank you for coming by again. Thank you, Pontus, for coming by again. A lot of returning people and a lot of new people. And welcome, Chen, and I think that'll basically do it for now. Yeah, good night, Crownless. Thank you for coming by. Ah, yes, the best ending on this planet is near. Yes, a very special ending is coming again. The stream was fun as always. Thank you very much. But for now, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.